Hi, welcome to Double O Racing. I'm Adrian. Today's video is on our CDI unit, the 5-pin flight control box, which basically is a simple system. It has a normal CDI mode with a sort of higher advanced curve like our R11 CDI, but it has an option to switch it to a restricted mode, so you can restrict your RPM from 3,000 right the way up to 14,000 RPM. So we're going to show you how to install it and set it up. The CDIs will work with the larger flywheels. They won't work with the smaller ones. They'll work with a regular round pole, as you can see there, you see the pickup, and they'll work with the long shoe, as we call it, pickup on there. They will work with the smaller 530 gram flywheels, but they won't work in the open mode. They'll only work in the restricted mode, but still you can turn it right the way up, so it's basically revving to its full RPM in the restricted mode, but as soon as you switch it to open mode it will misfire. So it's quite handy for racing. If you don't want to go out of your safety zone when you're revving, you can just say set it to 10,000 RPM and it will cut at 10 perfectly well, but as I say, it just won't work when you switch it to open mode. Okay, so today's test we're doing on just a regular monkey bike. It's got a 125 primary clutch engine with a large flywheel. So we're going to just show you the reaction of the trimmer screw, how well it adjusts the RPM. Okay, for ease we've actually uninstalled the CDI on this one from under the seat, just so we can see it. So it's as simple as just unplug it, get the new flight box, which you plug in there. Obviously you're going to remount the CDI when we've set it up to the RPM we want it set at. Okay, it's as simple as that. On top of the CDI we've got our trimmer screw, that's what we're going to adjust our RPM at. And here we've got our 2 wires for the switch. Any on-off switch you can wire this to. We don't supply a switch with it because obviously there's so many different applications where you want to put the switch, whether it be on the handlebars, whether it be hidden in the side panel somewhere. It's down to yourselves. So we're just going to connect the switch up, which we're using a regular kill switch. So I'll just plug these in, straightforward as that. And basically that's the installation all done, ready to go. Adjusting the RPM can be simpler. There's a little brass screw in a blue housing here. It works over 20 turns, but it's an open gate, so it will just keep spinning and spinning and spinning. So to increase the revs, we're going to basically turn it clockwise. You can go all the way to about 20 turns, and then that way it will be on the maximum RPM. And then obviously to set it the other way, to reduce the revs, we just back it off. Now to set it, you're going to need the bike running basically, so we're going to do that next. Now we're going to adjust the screw with the revs on, so you can hear the revs increase with the amount of turns that we do. Restricted mode at the moment, and you can basically hear it cutting. So there it is. And then we switch it to open mode. Back to restricted. There you go, that's open mode. Okay, so we're going to run the bike in open mode. This is full revs through the range. Open. So we've run through the installation and the setup. It's a really handy unit, as I say. It's brilliant for the road if you're on a restricted licence and you're only allowed to run up to a certain speed. 2, it's great for racing. If you've got a new engine, you can restrict your revs, so save you blowing it up. And also, it just helps if you miss a gear and you go way past its safety zone, something's not going to let go. And B, it really does help if you've got an issue where you're going into valve bounce all the time, and by the time your revs drop down enough, it has to clear itself. So this way, by restricting it just before it goes into valve bounce, it really helps. And also, it's handy for young lads riding bikes or learning to ride. Your parents can restrict the bike safely, so it won't overrev and they won't have any issues of getting used to the bike. The part number for this on our site is 8399. It's $24.99. You can't go wrong. It's a sturdy unit, and we install it to everything we supply.